Oh my god, she's a weirdo.
Hello, 'tis I, fat cow. I'm grumpy. That's all I can say. Well, no, it's not all I can say, but still. Foodie, blah, 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 life, blah, 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 again. Um, I have a few things I want to say about the things at Foodie. Firstly, the person who stated that a husband can divorce his wife in Islam by just saying, I divorce you 3 times, was actually correct, Foodie. If the marriage was a purely religious marriage, such as Urfi or Monsieur, those marriages that aren't legally recognized. If it was a marriage in the eyes of God and not registered as a civil marriage, which all people who get married in Kuwait have to do, a religious ceremony and the civil ceremony, or the marriage isn't recognized, with one exception, but I'm going to get to that. Then, if it's just the religious part, then I divorce thee 3 times, or I divorce you. I'm not medieval. Works. Just have to have two male witnesses. So it's not untrue. It's just, you know, people like to do things a bit more formally. Formally? Yeah, formally. Secondly, this is a biggish one. Foodie and Pay Monthly Hubby are staying married currently because they wouldn't be able to share the same home had they divorced. It would have been haram as they are not a married couple and are not related by blood or close marriage. But that's not the point of this little bit. Were you aware, Foodie, that to act as a married couple, to cohabitate with your spouse when you know the relationship is ending, is also haram? You know the relationship is finished, you finish it, go your separate ways, live in separate places. You're technically living in sin with Salah according to the religion you follow when you are with someone and still acting as man and wife when you know the marriage is over. Additionally, and it's been said by a lot of other people today, Salah and I have agreed to some terms and a certain level of respecting each other while we're still married until I leave. Sounds very much like an agreement was made. An agreement that, when narrowed down to its most basic tenets, do not humiliate me, do not embarrass me, do not make me feel less than, do not replace me while I'm under your roof. And basically, while I'm still financially giving you money, you must still continue to behave in a way that makes people think you love me. That famous, if I give them all this money, the very least they can do is pretend to love me. That is Pebble's tail. She has a very expressive, very talkative tail that very rarely stops doing anything. And many a person in my household has been slapped in the face with it. It sounds like he has to continue the agreement, the contract, the arrangement until you're no longer in the country. And I can almost guarantee you'll have to continue the contract stroke agreement while she's in Canada until she's at very least attempted to get him into Canada too. And should that fail, normal programming will resume and Foodie will go back to Syria and continue to give money to this individual in exchange for him pretending to love her. Of course, should he actually choose to get a first wife, an actual legitimate proper first wife, but to us it will look like a second wife, he'll find his funds being cut dramatically. So she has him over a barrel financially. Additionally, I once said it was impossible for Foodie and Salah to get married in Kuwait. I then discovered what the one singular loophole was, and that was for Salah to marry Foodie as a non-Muslim. As a Muslim, Salah is allowed to marry anybody who has a monotheistic, I said that wrong probably, belief system, either Jewish, Christian or Muslim. A Muslim woman is only allowed to marry a Muslim man because the children, if there are any, take the faith of the male. So Foodie could be civilly married if she married Salah as a Christian. However, that marriage would not be religiously recognized at all by any country that is under Muslim law. So it wouldn't have been recognized in Kuwait as a legal marriage because it's not recognized Islamically. And it's not recognized in Syria, but it would be recognized in Canada. That's kind of the point for Salah, isn't it? It's recognized in Canada. That's wonderfully serendipitous for him. If you ignore that he'd already applied twice. And he said some questionably dubious things of a pterodactyl type of way on his social media at times. She's Islamically married and recognized as Islamically married by God and other Muslims, but she's not recognized legally in any country that is Muslim based. And that's because she hasn't had the religious ceremony. Without the religious ceremony, that marriage isn't legal in any Islamic country. Sounds very complicated, but that's what I'm going to imply. But once Foodie took the Shahada and became Muslim, it makes things a bit complicated because she married Salah as a Christian. She should have got the documentation changed and she should have married religiously as a Muslim. That would have fixed everything. But anyway, I digress. So what Foodie and Salah are doing currently is, in the eyes of God, cohabitating, which is a sin that's punishable by death, actually, in some Islamic countries. It's against the Indecency Acts. Actually, it would have been against the law in Kuwait. You, my dear, is not doing a very good job of stuff religiously, but You never have. So I'm just putting out the facts, not judging, because I've always thought she's particularly ineffective practitioner of the faith she has declared to be a believer of. So, Foodie, you are a narcissist. We know that. The control you're holding over Salah in terms of him being able to move forward with his life and to do anything is quite awful. Both of you living together currently, while knowing your relationship is over, is haram. But there again, maybe you don't know it's over because you don't consider it over. So you're not actually breaking a major rule because you're not actually going to end this charade of a marriage. And you're still going to try and get Salah to Canada. It's going to fail. I told you it's going to fail. Not only for the reasons I stated, but from what I gather, a significantly noticeable number of individuals have reported Salah's intentions and the history behind his intentions and your involvement in the intentions. And I would imagine the Canadian government are quite aware of Salah on their computer files due to the amount of emails and letters they've received. Foodie, do you legitimately have any idea what you're doing with your life? You don't think very far ahead, do you? I mean, there's no point in a lot of respects. You haven't got really very much longer to go. So as long as Salah is around for that, you are happy because you don't need to think about the future. And what? Fuck Salah and his future? He can get on with his life, have children, be happy when you're gone, and not gone as in Canada, gone as in gone, not in a rude way. I mean, literally, Dante's Inferno and stuff like that. I have no idea which level you'd end up on because there's quite a few boxes that you've ticked. Amberlynn Reid. Now, I always said she misplaced the cat on purpose in order to stay longer at Emily's. I thought that maybe she managed to give the cat away. But that's because it never occurred to me. I couldn't even fathom the thought that she might have killed the cat. Despite the fact that I've always said that Amberlynn and Foodie, had they both been physically more capable, would very easily be capable of murder. So, if I think they would unalive a person, why wouldn't I believe that the unaliving of an animal was a possibility? Now, Amber said something quite interesting when she was holding Wasabi today. She said Wasabi won choosy. Did you play choosy with your 3 animals to decide which one was going to go? Did you actually play Russian roulette with your pets? That's a disgusting thought, as is the thought that You're an unaliver, a deliberate unaliver of a pet you've had for years. You, Amber, are foul. And the fact you believe that everything you do that happens when somebody else has hurt you, you call me a bitch. You don't answer my call. So my response to you is to basically say you deserve being physically hurt and you deserve to be shamed and all these other bevy of things. It's not an eye for an eye for you, Amber, is it? It's an eye for a mutilation of genitals. It's an eye for a lobotomy. Your response is, you know, and you're going to say it's because of your BPD. You're not doing anything about it, are you? You're not trying to fix it because it's a very convenient umbrella for you to hold over you to claim innocence and, as most adults do, take responsibility. It's your get out of jail free card, isn't it, the BPD? It exonerates you from anything you do. Well, not that this will make any difference to you whatsoever, but BPD is not legally a reason to get away with crime, murder, battery, that kind of thing. BPD would not lead to a verdict of innocence because of insanity. It would be taken into consideration, yes. But unless you have learning disabilities or a mental age, a genuine mental age of somebody significantly younger, we're talking about of a child, or an IQ of less than 80, let's say, BPD would never acquit you of a crime. And it's for that reason I say that you cannot use your BPD as an excuse for being an absolute monumental, see you next Tuesday, a narcissistic, see you next Tuesday.